this cable is giving you the best possible performance you can find. I mean, literally, they have spent months looking at how to get the best out of this. And in doing so, they've taken a pretty mediocre piece of cable and turned it into possibly the finest picture-based transmission cable that you can actually get your hands on. I mean, literally, it's one of these things, and I think anybody who's seen it will say the same thing. It's like once you've upgraded to it and you've used it, you can never go back. Because the moment you go back, you just think something looks broken. The problem with the original cable was that it didn't... What it gave you by taking away with the galvanic isolation, it put back in by the fact that the transmitters and receivers were so noisy. So what Cinemike did was to improve the transmitters and receivers so that the noise from either end was minimized to the point where it wasn't having an effect on the projector or the processor that it was coming from. And that gave you, so when you went back to that, you got then when you played the same track again, the bass came back, you had detail, it had dynamics, it had weight, fine dynamics were there, rhythm, pacing. I mean, if you heard the Bohemian Rhapsody track that was just played when you did the demonstration, with the original cable, it sounded like you were at the Madison Square Garden concert, but you were in the toilets, listening to it from the toilets. It didn't have that focus. You didn't have the center seats in the concert. You didn't feel like you were there. Then when we switched to the fiber optic cable and played the same track from Bohemian Rhapsody, it was like literally you were getting the best seat in the house at Madison Square Garden listening to Freddie Mercury doing that performance in the film Bohemian Rhapsody. It gave you the Roger Taylor's drums had weight. You could hear the skins that he was hitting. You know, the footsteps that were put in there to emphasize the whole thing about the crowd interacting. You could really hear the force and the power of that, and it added to the rhythm and the tonality of the whole thing. And that was with the modified cable. Without the modified cable, it literally was as if you were in another room listening to it. And it really gave you a sense of being there. It's like literally you bought the golden seat because of that modification to the cable. I work day to day in the technical post-production management of films. So I listen to a lot of films in their raw state before they're finally mixed, and when they're mixed and I hear the final mix, I have the privilege of going into the mixing theatres where they get produced, such as Delane Lee or Twickenham or Pinewood, or even Skywalker Sound in San Francisco, or just outside San Francisco. So I have a great understanding of how it should sound. So like listening to this, it gives you a good replication in your home cinema. It's getting closer to the original mix. This is what everybody wants, is the very best they can achieve, and this brings you very close to achieving the very best you can get. The Cinemike process is something where every element has been checked and certified by Cinemike. He's looked at everything from the plug in the wall that it's coming out to the wall, even to the electric supply that's coming into the building, to the processor, to the cable that's going to the speakers themselves, to how the room's set up, to how the things align. Very much like a chef. If you go meet a master chef, they'll have been to the market, they've checked all the produce, they'll know the people where the meat's coming from, they'll be in the kitchen, they'll check every single element. That's the same sort of thing here. The analogies are, it's about an experience, and to get the best experience you need to use the best that you can find. And it's not necessarily the most expensive thing you can find, it's the thing that actually gives the best performance. And when I reviewed this, that's what I said. It's like literally, actually for the price it is, it's actually a steal.